Oh, what a day! What a lovely day!
Welcome to Flat Earth Debate. I'm your host, Nathan Oakley, and if you're new to this channel, or you've not done so already, be sure to subscribe and hit the bell notification icon to keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. If you'd like to support this channel, there is a super chat that runs alongside each of these shows while they're live, and there's also a PayPal link in the info box below the video once it's rendered. Most importantly, if you'd like to join the discussion, simply mute the page you're currently watching, then click the link in the info box below this video to join the panel and express your views on the shape of the Earth. If you do join, please don't swear. If you do, you'll be ejected, and if you are, please don't try to rejoin the stream using sock accounts. You'll be warmly welcomed back on the next stream. Please also share the show. Sharing the show obviously increases the live audience, but this in turn increases the chances of a more diverse panel. So please share the show. And one last time, if you're new to the channel or you've not done so already, be sure to subscribe and hit the bell notification icon to keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. Now we are joined by a whole bunch of people. The Plain Truth, Tommy, Sleeping Warrior, Sean, Ranty Flat Earth, P Mars, Flat Earth, don't know the rest of your name, I think it's Ginger, Flat Earth Ginger, Chocolate Sane, and Arwin. Good to have you all.
Yo, yo.
Yo, yo.
Hello.
What's up? What's up?
Good afternoon.
Hello. Shout out to AZFE Chick again.
Don't do it, Riley.
I took a breath. I was going to do it.
Right,
Thank you, Tommy.
I'll stop you with
Thank
the question.
Appreciate that.
Any signs of curvature, gentlemen?
Nah.
Hang on. P Mars, any sign of curvature?
Yeah, all over the place.
Really? Have you got any evidence to support that assertion?
Not by your criteria.
No, we'll have to have that as a no then.
Well, there's hills, though. There is curved Earth, but the entire thing is not consistently curved.
I think you think the Earth is a globe, but you just want to, I don't know, argue for entertainment or something.
Oh well, all right. Let's go with that. If I thought the Earth was a globe and I was only here to try and prove the evidence that proves it, let's say it was a globe, but they couldn't prove it, would that be a problem for you?
Wait, say that again.
If your assertion was true, and I actually did think it was a globe, and I came here just to emphasize that they can't prove it, let's just say it was a globe, and I was here just to prove that they couldn't prove it, would that be a problem for you?
No.
Well, okay. Well, I'm happy with that then. If you think I think it's a globe, and I'm just here to prove that they can't prove it, I'm all right with that. If you can, you're entitled to your view, sir.
Most people can't prove that they live on a sphere.
Can anybody prove it?
Sure.
Ooh. Can you name anybody?
Like a geodetic surveyor.
Really? Did they assume R? P? They do, don't they, P?
I don't know.
No, geodetic surveyors do not incorporate curvature. It's ridiculous.
No, they assume
Globers misuse their instruments.
Yeah, they assume R for the calculations to calculate the distance between stuff, right?
I don't know how they do it, dude. You know who assumes R, though, is people that navigate the ocean and end up in the correct place.
Apparently, you need R in order to do calculations for a ball. So if you're going to measure the circumference of a ball like a football, you need the R to do that, to put into the formula. But at the same time, it is also begging the question, if you think about it properly.
It's not a geodetic surveyor that does it. It's the editors that build it into a model that then presume R and shape it all into that ball. The actual surveyors themselves that do the measurements, they don't use R. They know it's flat. Know it every day.
Models.
That's what they do.
Someone put like a maths question in there for us. We'd say in the cosine or whatever it was, 5 cosine times something. Like, just because I've done A-level maths doesn't mean I want to sit there and get my head wrapped around it again. I am capable of getting my head wrapped around cosine.
But hang on, at this point though, we're still on housekeeping, and the question that's on the table at the minute is there any signs of curvature? And we've all said no, but PMARS has said there's curvature everywhere, but he's accepted he can't prove it and that only other people can.
No.
And when I've asked him, but other people can
I
prove
can't
curvature.
prove it to you
Well,
because your
can you
criteria
prove it to
for
yourself?
evidence is way too high. Of course.
How do you prove it to yourself?
Like, you just look at the evidence and the observation, and it all supports the sphere.
Okay, so can you name me one that you think supports the sphere for you?
One piece of evidence that supports the sphere?
Yeah, on curvature, with regards to curvature.
Well, like Soundly's picture?
Seriously? You think Soundly's curvature supports curvature?
That's
Sure.
an observation. That's not.
Hang on a second,
proof.
hang on. But
It's
don't.
not
It's
experiment.
It's an evidence.
Yeah, but hang on. How
Piece
do
of
you
evidence.
respond to people?
Scientific evidence.
How do you respond to people that, when asked certain questions like why don't we see a curvature on the horizon at 30,000 feet and stuff like that, when they get told it's because the Earth's so big, you're not going to see it at that elevation, but you think you can see it across a little Pontchartrain at 17 miles?
Well,
I've got a little presentation.
Hang on. Come on, P. Do you really think that you can see the effects of curvature on Lake Pontchartrain at 17 miles the way Soundly shows it?
I see curvature out my window, Riley. So
Really?
It looks exactly like Soundly's picture, yeah. It
No, I don't believe that.
curves
Can
up.
I see a
it
picture
slopes
outside
up.
your window, P? I bet you
I don't have a
there's not a
camera.
lake outside your window with pylons going over it.
No, but I live in the Red River Valley. I live by a river, and it's all flat here. I live in the second flattest state in America. I live in the
And
one of
you
the
still see
flattest
curvature?
areas of America. Yeah, this glacier.
You just described it as flat.
They presuppose this glacier came through this area and flattened everything out back in the day.
But you still
Oh,
think you
like
see curve, even though you've just said it's flat.
Agassiz Glacier.
But you've just said it's flat. But you also say that you see curvature out your window. Which one is it?
Both.
So the
It's
glacier
flat.
flattened it.
It's all the same elevation, right? So I mean,
Do you understand that a curve and a flat plane
It's flat.
are the opposite? They're not the same.
So what
yeah, but
directed
if you're
the
in a
glacier?
sphere and everything's the same elevation, you could describe that as like flat, right?
But what directed the glacier to make it level out the ground completely flat?
What do you mean? What directed it?
Yeah, and how did it move if it was already on a flat surface? Once it's moved and it's carved out a flat area, it shouldn't move anymore, should it?
I think glaciers are always moving.
Well,
So-
my worry is that you said that it was flat outside the window because of the glacier, because you live in that valley or whatever, but actually you described it as curved because you looked out the window and saw it. How can it be both?
Because it's at the same elevation, so there's no elevation change on a sphere. You could describe it as flat, right?
No, you can't ever describe a sphere as flat, ever.
Yeah,
Yeah, you
I
can.
don't understand. Can you just explain what you mean? There's no elevation change if you're on a sphere. I don't understand what that means.
Like, from the center of the Earth, the elevation stays the same.
No, it doesn't.
All the way around a sphere, you could describe that as being flat, right? Because there's no mountains and stuff.
You
That's
mean the
what I'm saying.
radius
There's
is a
no
constant all
mountains.
the way around?
Sorry,
The elevation stays the same.
P,
There's no hills.
moving your radius is describing a curve. If you hold the radius from the center, so you've got a circle, forget the sphere for a second, and you pin a piece of string to the center and pull it out beyond the circle, yeah? And then you move it to a different point, so you've still got the same central point. Well, you've just described a curve, not a flat surface.
Right. I understand
And
that.
you can't
So
have
you're
a
saying
flat surface
because
that looks like
hold
a
on,
curve.
let me just get to the end of my
Did you
point.
so?
Hold on. So, but you're saying because it remains the same elevation, then that means it's curved and simultaneously flat. So you're engaging in double speak, Pete.
I don't think so. Yeah, they say Florida is the flattest state, right? That's what they say, but it's obviously the people saying that they think the Earth is a ball. They said it's the flattest because there's no hills and mountains and stuff. It's just same elevation.
So talk me through that, P. It's the same elevation, flat as a pancake. So how'd you go from that to the only connection you made was people say it's a ball though. So other than people saying it's a ball, where do you go from it being flat as a pancake as far as the eye can see, as flat as it can be according to you, one of the flattest states? How'd you go from that to curved?
They're not saying it's flat. They're not saying when they say it's flat, they're not saying that there's no curve. They're just describing that there's no mountains and hills on a ball.
Yeah, but there are though.
Well,
but
not where I live.
Okay, where do they describe it? So hold on. Where do they say this, and who says this?
Like they say that they have you heard of the salt flats, right?
Yeah.
The Bolivian salt flats. Yeah.
So they're not. It's not actually flat. It's on a ball. They didn't.
So we should see.
People who call it the salt flats. They
he's
ball, but they still call it the salt flats.
Can you all stop talking over P?
I was obfuscated. I'm pretty sure that's exactly what we're talking about.
Can you all stop talking? I can't hear P.
Florida.
Just deal with what?
I couldn't hear what you were saying. Everyone was talking over you.
I'm not obfuscated. I was exactly on topic. Like, what the hell are you talking about?
Care about your window.
We asked you to justify your claim about Florida. Who says that it's not really talking about curvature? It's just talking about topography. You made a claim.
Why are you trying to force me to just talk only about Florida?
Well, then I can.
What's the point of that?
So actually, P, no, you're wrong. They are talking about the fact that there is no curvature. It has nothing to do with topography. See, I've made a claim. I don't need to back it up.
Because assertions made without evidence can be dismissed without evidence.
The point is, P, that he's challenged your assertion with the complete polar opposite of your assertion and backed it with nothing. And before he did that, we were saying, well, who's saying that the Bolivian salt flats are flat, but that doesn't mean flat? Who's saying this? Find me a quote where they say the Bolivian salt flats are flat, but we don't really mean flat. Just find me a quotation or a citation that backs that.
How would I find something like that? I don't.
You wouldn't.
I would never be able to find something like that.
That's the problem with making an assertion, P.
You wouldn't, because it's nonsense. It's doublespeak. That's what I said. You're engaging in doublespeak.
I don't know why you're frustrated, P. It's like you're making a claim, and then I just.
It's just doublespeak.
Can I show you something, mate?
Okay, hold on. Before you do, Ranty, it's on screen, Ranty, but I just want to round this out. Just let me round this out by saying.
Yeah, it is.
The question. Hold on.
I'm not double thinking.
Hold on.
You are double thinking.
Hold on. Oh God! I say, can I just get the end of it, and then 5 people talk when I say, can I just end? So I just want to round this out by saying the question originally was any signs of curvature, and what we've got from UP is 2 examples of something that's really flat, but with only the addition of you saying, but that means it's not flat.
Because Nathan, we've went over this before, and your criteria of evidence that you would accept I have to shoot you in a rocket out into space. I can't do that, so I can't prove there's curvature to you. But to most normal people, I can prove curvature.
No.
Okay.
Normal people. You're not normal.
You guys. I'm on a panel of freaks. You guys are like circus.
Hold on. Let's not
Come on. Look, you've just come in, right? And you have to, the same way I did, you come in and you've attacked him with something with actually no factual evidence of what you're saying, but then you're trying to present it like it's fact.
Prove you no factual evidence. What factual evidence do you have?
Can I show you something?
What factual evidence do you have?
Proving yours.
Long distance observation at minimal observer height.
Watch my
See it because it's there.
No. Watch my screen now.
Everything, Ranty, everything you've taken video of proves we live on a sphere.
Watch my screen. Are you watching my screen?
This is hilarious. This is hilarious.
After you to provide proof that it's curvature they were looking at.
Are you looking, P?
Dude, there's proof everywhere of curvature. Like
can we see something?
A sundial.
Oh God! Here we go. Gish gallop away. So I'll just summarise one more time. The question on the table was any signs of curvature, and the examples you've given, P, are 2 really flat expanses, and you're saying Florida and the Bolivian salt flats are your example of signs of curvature.
Curvature. It's one of the most proven things there is.
Oh, here we go. More Gish gallop assertions.
P.
What do you mean Gish gallop assertions? It's true.
Well, off topic. So I'm trying to point out that your examples of a sign of curvature is literally Florida and the Bolivian salt flats.
Okay, but that's you're pissing straw man in my face.
No, I'm literally repeating your examples back to you. That's
You're
not
straw
pissing-
manning me. You're creating.
That's not straw manning you. That is repeating what you have said back to you. It sounds ridiculous, but I'm just repeating back what you've said. Your examples,
you're straw manning me. You're pissing straw man in my face.
When asked for your signs of curvature, your examples are Florida, which is very, very flat, out my window, which has been flattened by a glacier, and the Bolivian salt flats. Those are your examples of curvature.
I said Soundly's picture too, so you're straw manning me, and I also said geodetic survey.
Don't get defense. He's really not straw manning yet. He's just giving you. He's just saying your evidence.
Mate, what do you know? You don't know shit.
I don't know shit. Okay, what are you getting angry for? What are you getting upset for? What's this got to do with your feelings? Your emotion.
Who the hell are you? Why are you
emotional?
The high voice. I recognize this.
P.
Cool it down or get kicked.
When you mention Soundly, what is it? What is it with Soundly's evidence
Sean,
you're
a newbie.
Right?
Stop rumpusing.
Sean is a newbie. I've been here for 3 years.
Come on, be reasonable.
But your argumentation is still that of 3 years ago. This is ridiculous. You should know better.
We proved the Earth was a sphere thousands of years ago. Like, what are you talking about? The flat Earth argument. Flat Earth is just for entertainment. Like, it's a fun argument to have. But
maybe in your little safe
it's a fun
space
argument.
of globe cosmos.
P.
You need to
Like,
P, do you not have anything else to do, P?
It's 1 versus 9 here, Sean.
Well, I want to try and show you something. But
you're real tough on a 1 versus 9, Sean. Real tough 1 versus 9.
P.
Do you fight? Is that how you fight?
Are you
all your battles?
deliberately
You need a big group of
Now this is total and utter obfuscation. So Ranty's desperately trying to show him a point because he's brought up Soundly, and he's attacking everybody's conduct and saying, it's me being attacked by you lot. It's 5 against 1. Yeah, victim card.
I'm trying to show you something, P, but you're just not even responding to me. What's the point? Are you actually here to learn something, or are you just going to just rumpus?
I am not here to learn.
So what are you here for, given that it's a debate panel?
I don't know. I don't know why I joined.
So get off then.
He's here to tell you that his beliefs in something is actual evidence for something which isn't.
What's
which
wrong
isn't
with
evidence.
Beliefs? Why do you have a thing against beliefs?
I can believe in like.
Are you
I
a
don't know,
nihilist?
I can believe in like flying spaghetti monster. And I can tell you about Harry Potter visiting me the other day.
So what? What's your point?
The point
you don't
being
like
that
beliefs?
your
Are you a
evidence for
nihilist?
curvature, the arguments you've brought and the evidence you've brought is just your belief that is the reason that's curvature to you. It is a belief. It's not.
There's pictures of it. We have pictures of it. What are you talking about?
Yes,
What
and
are
things
you
can
here
be
for?
explained by things if you listen to what they're
No,
saying.
they can't. What they're saying is nonsense. Perspective is in drawing.
I love it. Perspectives in drawings only. In real life, we only encounter we only encounter curvature in real life. Perspective doesn't come into it. Things don't get smaller as I move further away from them. They always go over a curve. Perspective doesn't apply ever. You're right, P. We're all bonkers.
So,
Hang on. He's denying
perspective. Can I talk?
No, hang
have
on.
a
He's denying
pacifier for this
perspective
guy.
on the basis that it's only applied in drawings. Is that what your position is?
Look, I just googled the definition of perspective.
Do objects get smaller as a function of distance or not, P?
Can I talk?
Not really. Answer the question.
Okay.
Do objects get smaller as a function of distance or not?
Did you try and have a threesome with Karen P?
Yeah, total obfuscation. So, are you just here to troll, P? Is that it?
Yeah, he's trolling.
Well,
Come back when you're not going to troll, Pete. I'm sure you can have a normal,
we're into
coherent
one
conversation at some
question.
point.
We're into the first question of housekeeping. Any signs of curvature? And the examples we've got from P are the Bolivian salt flats and Florida and an area of land that's been flattened by a glacier. That's his examples of curvature. You're having me on.
The curvature that's here is my belly. Can we move on?
Yeah, there was no... I'm sorry, we've kind of ruined the housekeeping.
28 minutes of that. What the hell? Any signs of curvature? Yeah, the Bolivian salt flats. What?
That's our argument, you moron.
Hang on, there's a clue in the name. I'm sure there is.
Well, before we do move on, Ranty's been desperately trying to get his example. It's been on screen for about 20 minutes.
I have, yeah, I have been, to be fair. And I was going to explain, this is a typical of, sound lease stuff where things get crushed over distance, Yeah, exactly. And the compression and stuff. So obviously this is the same images, but I've just lined them up side by side. Same image as the one I just had displayed for ages. So same as this one. But I've just put them side by side. And what I've done is I've decided to measure up some stuff. So the red line obviously is going directly through this, I don't know what you would call it, the top of the mast there, I suppose. And it's through the top of the mast on that one. So out of the compression zone, they match up pretty well. And then when you lower the line and you go down to the roof of the cabin, so the roof of the cabin, which is there, it matches up to the roof of the cabin over there on the left. So again, they're matching up pretty well. And this continues all the way. It continues down to the lifeboat, the orange boat in the middle. It goes through the center of that too. So again, this is going back to Alan B when he came in and said that, what focal length did you have? Well, that makes no difference at all because this is proving that this is matching up very well. When we go down to the red part of this boat with the S on, again, it's pretty consistent down to the bottom of the S, give or take. So anything above that very narrow compression zone matches up perfectly. Width ways, height ways, everything's fine. The only thing that's then changed is look at the difference on the bottom. Look at the difference of how much is missing on the bottom. When I just lower it to the bottom of the boat there, it doesn't even get to the words on this one on the left. All that hull is being crushed into a very, very narrow band. And if you blink tested that...
Hold on one sec. Hey, Rumpus.
Hello. I thought Ranty might like an explanation of what's going on in this picture.
Go on then.
Hey, Haunted.
How you doing? Body of science.
Hey.
Right. The one thing you should bear in mind, Ranty...
Hold on a second, Rumpus. Hey, Jonathan. How you doing?
Good morning, Nathan. Good morning, guys. Good morning, P. Mars. Good job, buddy.
He's gone.
Good morning.
Well, I'm waiting for Rumpus to educate me as to why the width and the height above the compression zone, everything matches up perfectly. But when we get into the very, 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 very narrow area of the hull, it gets crushed. I'm waiting for this.
Oh, Plain Truth removed him for some reason.
Yeah, okay.
No, I think that's a troll.
Can I say something real fast? It's just an observation I was making. I don't think P. Mars is really in it to get anywhere with this.
I agree.
But I'm hearing you guys bring up these awesome, arguments, and it's just kind of wasted. I don't think he cares one way or another, but it is entertaining to just kind of sit here and poke at us at the idea, and it kind of belittles it.
That's what he's doing. He's not here to try and learn anything. He's just here to troll.
Yeah.
Yep.
His examples of curve with the Bolivian salt flats is definitely here to troll.
Pardon?
His examples of flat with the Bolivian salt flats in Florida, he's definitely here to troll.
Yeah, no, they were his examples of curve.
One of his arguments was no.
This is where your curve is. Your curve is in this compression zone. That's where the curve is.
Yeah, that's exactly what we're seeing.
That's it. And, this work that we're doing is showing that. It retains its width. Anything out of that compression zone keeps its same height, because it's out of that very narrow band. Once you go into that, let's give it a value, let's say 0.2 of a degree. Let's just give it that, for instance. I don't know whether that's correct, but in that 0.2 of a degree, you get this compression that goes on. And, if you're trying to look at a building or something, you'd see 10 foot of the building, whereas essentially we know we're seeing all of it because we're seeing down to the hull. We've got the orange hull visible in both images. So we know that we're seeing all of the boat. It's just squashed.
Hey, Ranty, can I ask you a question?
Sure.
Do you think maybe by now, the footage that you have might need some refreshing? Because it's great, but I want to see what the next part 2 of Ranty
he only
photos
got his
are
camera today. Give him a minute.
Yeah, I know. Talk about impatient.
Well, no, like all the previous ones. I was thinking, I saw someone do some zooming, tests in a cityscape. It was in Florida, so it was really flat. But it was just while you guys are explaining what's the refraction and all this stuff, it's just a more visually pleasing thing to see. It's also not as, I don't know how to put it. It's like over water, right above water, is I think what creates that blue glow that we see in the horizon. I took a video, like a 10-second video of me diving off a diving board at the swimming pool in town, and as I put the camera right on the ground, so it was level with the ground. When I hit the water, as the plume, like the wave, the splash settled into like mist, it created the same glow, like right, like in my, whatever, my horizon. It was identical. It was the same blue glow. So I think it's just more moisture in the air, for that matter. But I think that does create some other kind of deflection, refraction, reflection. But I don't know. You seem dedicated to this, and I wanted to know what your next
plan of attack is. Well,
yeah,
I've got I'm modifying the P900 so it can film in infrared.
You got a P1000. That's what.
And I've got a P1000, yeah. So
cool.
You
should make a video.
I have.
About the camera, because there's nothing online. There's like some video. One guy put a video out. He does no zooming. He's like, "Hey, I can see the truck across the street. Zip, zim, back out, back in." Meanwhile, the thing can do like 10 times that.
Let me just
no one's really like showcasing the camera well, but I guess it is.
P1000 versus the P900. So this is what I filmed this morning. Obviously, this is where I said I nearly broke the P1000 this morning. You can see the wind is moving from left to right, so everything's blowing left to right, and I've opened the window wide open, and I'm looking out. I'm going to look right over in the distance at this building when I get there eventually. But I have to stop my zooming in because the wind blows the window and nearly hits the camera. So if you look where the window is now and I'm zooming in, I'm obviously missing that camera. And this is the first test of the P1000.
So you get smacked by the window?
Yeah, it stopped about an inch short of the lens.
I had my camera attached to my car, and it almost fell off. It was like an inch off the ground because the mount flipped over. It didn't have enough like strength. It wasn't like taut enough. There's no tightening. But anyway, go ahead.
So I'm just resuming back out now to show you where the window was. So now I'm zooming back out again, and there the window.
How far?
Look,
is that building?
That was where it stopped. It was like
it's over the curve. It's that far,
and I'm like, oh,
it's beyond the imaginary curve. Boom, boom.
So how much but like I guess GPS wise, I guess it's really hard to get an idea of just how far that is. Really,
it's a good
GPS is shows the road.
This building is a couple of miles away in the distance that I'm going to zoom into now.
If there wasn't any obstruction, you'd be able to see his own ass in the camera.
I know, right? Right around the
wall, all the way around the earth, apparently.
When people say that,
look at this. Look at the clarity on that from 2 miles away.
Yeah, people do say that.
Specifically, Rumpus and Paul Voigt.
I'm looking at the watch page like an idiot. Let me put that down. Okay. Yeah, it looks pretty good. I guess it's not really transferring online. Like the internet's not allowing it to shift properly.
So yeah, this is the first test.
Oh, you're not presented. I'm looking at Nathan's
link. You have to click the window in the bottom of the
Yeah. I was looking at the other thing.
When you zoom out, it's so far away. I mean,
it's like a boner. The camera's like, all right.
What you need to do, Ranty, is put your P900 next to it, focusing on the same thing, and show how far it goes compared to the P900.
Well, we've already got that. Can any chance you can bring up Sandra's video, Anthony, as you're the one suggesting it?
Well, Ranty's got his screen share on.
Are you doing something else?
No, I'm just watching Ranty, but he's the one screen sharing.
Yeah, but while he's doing that, while he's showing his video, is there any chance you'd be kind enough to bring up Sandra's video where she does a literal comparison between P900 and P1000? Because it's on something much more further away. Oh, probably on mute. Going, bastard.
Hello, I'm not.
Are you playing your game?
No. I'm just trying to find a channel. P900. I can never find a channel easily because I just get trillions of P900 videos instead.
Oh man, I hate that shit.
Right. I guess you picked the name so that it was easy to find, but it actually is really hard to find. Right, I found a channel.
Right? I have a mixing console that's got the same model number as a surround sound, like sound bar. How do I get past it? It's impossible. Who invented sound bars either? What a lame idea. Never thought that was good. Oh, by the way, there's a cool mic out there if anyone wants to do like, quote unquote, what they call flat earth activism. And boy, oh boy, must that piss off the Globers. Well, due to these, oh my God, what they're calling it activism? It's called the Rode Reporter mic. The Rode Reporter. It's an omnidirectional wireless, really nice, lean, small, sleek. The guy put it up against an SM58, and the SM58 did really well. Omni versus cardioid, but really good. It blocked out some road noise, street noise.
Yeah, I was just waiting for Rumpus to say that clearly those boats is going over the horizon. And then I'd have pointed out, well, I'll tell you what, we can see the orange hull in both and all the words on both. It'd been like...
Okay, so this is Sandra's video, and she's showing that basically what she's looking at, which is an oil rig. Does she give the distance, Anthony?
Yeah, it's 18.9 nautical miles, which is about 18 miles, I think.
So this is about the distance. So to give a comparison, some of Ranty's pictures of the lighthouse are about the same distance when he's really far away from it.
So that's with the P900, and some people are saying, "Where are the legs gone?" Well, none of that stanchion thing should be seen because the distance away it is and the amount of curvature that Soundly shows, you shouldn't see any of that.
Hey, hello. Hello.
Go on, fellas.
Just screen sharing at this moment. Just bear with me one sec, dude.
Okay.
And then she backs out.
So that's the P900 at 18 miles.
Hang on, is that the oil rig that I filmed and I just saw the flame of it and said the rest of it was behind that band of Mirage?
Yes,
it is,
I think
isn't
so.
It?
Yes, I think it is.
It is.
It might be in a different position though.
Somebody clicked haunted. Can you find out who it was, Arwin? And then there's the one. There's the 1,000. But obviously, Ranty, you had that band of refraction that was distorting it on your video, and she's got the same video without that band of refraction.
Yeah, and I might be able to pick out to see a video of it.
Doesn't that look massive compared to what you'd expect it to look like?
Should.
So it's nearly 200 feet of hidden, right? Now that platform's not even, I wouldn't say it's even 70 feet high.
I'm going to show you the platform in a minute when I can find
I wouldn't
the
even
video.
say it's 50 feet, maybe 60 feet. So none of it should be seen.
So there you go. So that's the kind of improvement you can expect to see in some of these images at these sorts of distances. Very cool. Thank you, Sandra, for producing that. Really, really cool example of the difference between the two. Excellent.
Oh, hang on. There we go. There it is.
So Sandra's in the chat at the moment under screen name P1000 Coolpics. So if you click on her icon and then go to her channel and subscribe today.
No, her channel name's P900 Coolpics.
She's got two. She's got P1000 and she's chatting on that at the moment. So her current channel, she's got two.
Okay.
P1000 Coolpics is there. Last comment was thanks, Dank. So just click on her. I'll show you so they can see.
Was that?
Riley,
was that on
you're watching the back
P1000?
chat. What? You're
Yeah,
watching
I
the
think
back
there's a troll
chat
in
at
there
all?
kicking people.
I think Arwin got sniped.
Yeah, it's a dodgy Plain Truth account.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Right, so what's happened is, let me tell you who's done what. I removed Pete, then Plain Truth joined right afterwards, which will presumably be Pete. And then Alwyn removed Plain Truth from the Hangout. Then Plain Truth removed Tommy Hench. Then Rampaging joined, Haunted joined. Plain Truth removed Dodgy. Plain Truth removed Rampaging Rumpus. Plain Truth removed Haunted House. Unorthodox then joined. Plain Truth removed Arwin, and then I've just removed Plain Truth.
Fair enough. Well, there's still several people in the Hangout, so if you want to join the show, feel free. The link's still active and available.
I believe I dodged all that.
Whoa, you're quiet.
Usually at work right now.
So I noticed that Plain Truth kicked whoever it was earlier on, and I asked, like, why did he kick him? Rumpus, that was. And that was the troll account at the time. So I'd spotted that Plain Truth had removed him, but didn't realise it wasn't Travis.
Yeah, because Travis would have said that he kicked him.
Shout out to AZFE Chick.
Rethinking Revelation.
Hey, Travis.
Hey, I got.
Travis, you're not a game, man.
I got dropped, and then I couldn't get back in under Mona Lisa. So.
Yeah, because you had somebody else come in.
Oh.
You have a sock that's
my
sniping
doppelganger.
Yeah, you got a doppelganger.
Okay, sorry guys, I apologize.
He had to apologise for your troll account.
Yeah, you're making it big time, bro.
Yeah, right.
You got
My troll account sniped everybody the other day. That was great.
Yeah, it came in, but it didn't have a swinging sword.
Oh, it was a fixed one. That's because you got to be clever to have that swinging sword. It's not that easy to do what I did there, boys and girls.
So what's up now? What are we at? Where are we at? What are we talking about?
Well, we haven't even got through housekeeping, but can we dispense with it for the rest of the show?
No way. I want to rattle the way through housekeeping.
Okay, then come on, let's rattle through housekeeping.
Fair enough. Any signs of axial rotation of the Earth-based variety?
No.
No.
Nope.
Any evidence of gas pressure without a container?
Don't be silly, Nathan. That would defy the second law on thermodynamics.
Any evidence of the distance to the sun?
Distance to the sun? No. Shout out to Flat Earth Math, who couldn't answer it recently in a hangout.
Any evidence of a self-perpetuating molten iron core at the centre of a presupposed spherical Earth?
Nope.
No. But they always want to see our ice wall, so show us that core.
Any scientific evidence of gravity?
No.
What about the presupposition itself then? Any evidence of the R value, Earth radius?
No.
No evidence.
Negative.
Yeah, that was easy, without P, giving us the Bolivian salt flats as an example of curvature.
Now, that's unusual. I've never heard somebody argue that one of the best flat Earth proofs as one of their arguments for a curve. He must be trolling us.
I don't think he knows what he's saying.
And it's a shame as well that he doesn't think that the curvature is something that can be seen easily when he accepts Soundly's curvature thing on Pontchartrain. It's like you can't have it both ways. Either the curve is there, or it's not there. And if it is there, then we should be able to measure it scientifically and measure it accurately with precision instruments. And what do you know? When you're asked for it, nobody seems to be able to produce anything better than Fraudly.
Who?
Yeah. Is there any ever? We've missed one, Nathan. A short-term recent inclusion.
Oh yes, there was one more. Any evidence of the unicorn hangout where Soundly is being coached by Geo?
There's no evidence whatsoever of this unicorn hangout, Nathan. And I take issue with the semantic point, and I know it's mute, but you said that it was kind of implying that there was a hangout by calling it a unicorn hangout. I'd just like to remind people that by definition, unicorns don't actually exist. So if there was a hangout and it was known as the unicorn hangout, by a process of factual elimination, we can deduce with a little bit of intelligence that there won't be a real hangout if it's called a unicorn hangout.
Yeah, but you're making an assumption there. The people that are going to need to do that have got the capacity to do it.
What's the assumption?
That people have the ability to actually make that step and not just say, oh, well, he's saying there's a hangout. Not that he's saying it's a unicorn
I've got to
hangout.
be honest, I completely agree. I mean, there is a certain level of minimum knowledge and understanding that you need to even be in the debate, in the conversation at all. If you're looking into flat Earth and you still have the view that we live on a ball, you probably don't have the capacity in the first place to realize that it's not a ball. That it's literally that simple. Like, if you're thick, you still think it's a ball. If you've woken up a little bit and you're questioning it, you're halfway there. If you come to the end of your journey and you still think it's a ball, then either your journey wasn't that thorough, or you lack the capacity to understand that the evidence isn't strong enough to be able to persuade anybody that the ball slowly spins, orbits the sun, and has this downward acceleration force that they do call gravity. You haven't realized all that. None of that has got evidence to support its truth.
What you're basically saying is, if you think you live on a ball, you're stupid.
Yeah, that's basically what I'm saying, Nath. You got to have a limited amount or a minimum amount of intelligence and capacity to absorb new information. And if you don't have, if you haven't got to the end of that, you might as well leave. Is that a bit harsh, or is that pretty blunt?
See, I would say if you live on a ball, if you believe you live on a ball, you're not necessarily stupid, because that's what we're all taught.
No, that's not what I said.
After you've been shown evidence, and
yes,
after you get into this type of thing, and then you look for proof of the ball and you can't find it, then if you continue to believe you live on a ball, then I think you're either just, cognitive dissonant or just stupid.
Yeah,
or a combination of the two.
And one of the best, easiest ones that if you're on the fence and you're not sure is to look at. Imagine that you are God, the omnipotent God person, right? And you look down on space and you decide you're going to put a globe in the middle of your frame of view, and you put it at a distance where you can see all of that globe. Kind of like what you see on screen when someone's screen presenting, like Ranty, for instance. When he speaks, he's got a round circle. We'll call that the globe. But everything else around it is the vacuum of space, which is 10 to the minus 24 torr value, which is a huge differential, right? You're going to put a pressurized nucleus of pressure in the middle of that, and then the minute you move your hands away because you let go of your creation, it's just going to go and explode into the vacuum of space because of that differential. That is factually what happens. So if you think that you live on a little sphere that's got a gas pressure and it coexists next to the vacuum of space, but the differential is as severe as what it actually is, then you're a moron.
And then they say it's gravity that's keeping the atmosphere here. Well, if gravity is that strong, how the hell are any of us alive? How are we just not compressed into some tiny little molecule? Like, I don't understand how they can go with the two of them. Like, it just doesn't make sense to me.
It's not just the strongest, weakest force, Chocolate. It's also the smartest and trixiest force, because it does what you think it can't.
It's also the most elusive.
It does what you think it can, and it does what it wants when it wants.
It hides in the shadows. Shady gravity, hiding in the shadows. Very elusive.
The whole gravity argument, it's just so ridiculous.
It basically doesn't exist until you have a difficult argument, and then it comes away from behind the shadows and goes, "Hey, I'm gravity. Do you need me?" I bet you do. You're talking about globes. I bet you need me. Any minute now, they'll need me. You watch.
Oh my god.
Wait for it. Here comes the Coriolis.
Yeah, when somebody says gravity in response to how do you have this tiny little dot in the vastness of space with a gas pressure, and gravity is their answer, you go, oh, wicked, excellent. Show me gravity holding a gas pressure without a container. Just show me that.
I mean, how would you even argue that if you're a baller? You'd have to.
You just stand there and say, "Just breathe." You're experiencing it right now.
Or you drop something.
Yeah, that's what they're going to say. They'll say it's self-evident, and it's like, really, and we can't prove it.
Let's ask one. Unorthodox. You there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Yeah, what's up, man? What are your thoughts on gravity there?
Well, I mean, I've done, 2 scientific proofs on the show, so I'm not really sure why you guys are still doing that in terms of gravity. Like, you need to check that off the list, because I've done that,
It sounds really shitty, man. What's going on?
You're saying you did 2 scientific proofs? You've proved it to us twice?
Yeah. Nathan probably remembers.
What are you talking about, Unorthodox? Your mic sounds terrible. What's going on?
I did 2 scientific proofs of gravity on your show, so I'm just curious why you guys are still including that in your housekeeping. You need to check that one off.
You understand what scientific means?
Hold on. What were they? Remind us.
Remind you what?
Just give us the bullet points. Don't go through the whole rigmarole. Just give us the bullet points. What was your 2 points?
The bullet points were basically, as you move up and away from Earth's surface, the pressure decreases, and also.
Yeah, and we told you that you can't have the pressure without a container, so you've jumped the gun.
That's outside of what we're talking about here.
No, it's not. It's,
hold on,
it's called
Anthony.
debunking your point.
Hold on, Anthony. So, was your fact that we have a pressure gradient your scientific proof?
Well, I had right, you got an independent and a dependent variable. So I had my height as my independent variable, and then you adjust the height, and then you measure the air pressure.
So your height was your independent variable. Is that what you just said?
Sorry, let me just say this. You are stupid if you think height is the cause of pressure differential. Height doesn't cause anything. It's a concept.
Yeah, we're humans. We come up with concepts, right?
Yeah, concepts don't cause things, you bonehead.
Sure they do. Concepts can cause things.
No, they don't. They're concepts, right? So let's just dispense with point 1. Point 1, no, that wasn't a scientific proof of gravity. Number 2, it definitely didn't demonstrate gravity maintaining a gas pressure without a container. So, number 1, it's not a scientific evidence of gravity. Number 2, it doesn't demonstrate gas pressure without a container. So what was the other proof that you think you've given us that's scientific evidence of gravity?
It was basically the same form factor, but it was just as you move up and away from Earth's surface, you can measure the change in weight, right? If you go to a very tall building and you have a sensitive enough scale, you can determine that you actually weigh less.
Have you got any evidence to support that assertion?
Oh, hold on. Let's just, before you do that, Anthony, sorry, again, not scientific.
Yeah, I put it in a sign. That's what I did for you. I put it in a little scientific box like you wanted me to.
So, sorry, what was your independent and dependent variable? What was your observed phenomena?
Observed phenomena was, basically that you feel lighter, right? When you go up, don't you feel feeling a little
Sorry,
lighter?
my observed phenomena is you feel lighter, right? So, I go out and observe, you feel lighter, right? Is that your serious observed phenomena, or are you just retarded?
No, well, the first experiment with...
Not an experiment, you bonehead. Don't insult science.
Don't insult science.
Yeah! An experiment is the expression of a hypothesis. What you've got is gibberish.
No, I've got step 1, step 2, step 3. So I got it all laid out in the perfect little steps, exactly like you wanted, Nathan.
So what was your independent variable then? Height?
The independent variable, okay, so in the first one, the air pressure is dependent upon the distance from Earth, right? So the
distance is a concept. It doesn't cause things, you unbelievable idiot.
What?
Distance is a concept. It's not the cause of anything.
Distance is a concept. Do you believe that you live in a virtual reality?
No.
Distance is a physical thing that you can measure.
Sorry, do you want to show me distance? Can I physically hold on to distance? Can you give me the molecular formula for distance?
That's a straw man, Nathan.
No, it's pointing out that it's a bloody concept, you unbelievable retard.
I don't understand how that...
Yeah, I know you don't understand. That's because you are Dunning-Kruger and you don't understand your own stupidity.
Like I said, you need to have a certain level...
Shut up!
Like I said, you need to have a certain level of intelligence to be in the debate, in the discussion.
Yeah, and Orthodox does not have that. He thinks by formulating a crap hypothesis that is backed by absolutely sod-all experimentation that he somehow proved gravity. What an unbelievable idiot.
It's not a straw man. Hold on, Orthodox. It's not a straw man to ask you to clarify what you said. When you say something and then we try to clarify it, you can't label that a straw man because we're asking...
straw man. I was labeling Nathan saying that it isn't physical, it is just a concept. I was labeling that as a straw man.
It is a concept. It is a concept. What part of that don't you understand?
Let me ask you this. Do you believe...
No, not let me ask you something. What part of that don't you understand?
That's what I'm trying to get at. If you let me
Don't ask me a question. Answer my question. What part of it is a concept don't you understand?
Every part of it.
Yeah, that's because you're a retard. So don't make any more assertions here, retard.
Like I said, give me about 60 seconds and I'll just run through this really quick.
You don't need to run us through anything. You are stupid, and we will be more dumb for listening to you.
Yeah, I agree.
I seriously doubt that, guy.
And
yeah, I know that if we listen to your babble, we will effectively become more stupid, having to I can feel it happening. Just talking to you, I feel more dumb.
So Nathan, I think you're projecting.
Oh, that was funny.
Well, if it's not, then you shouldn't have a problem rebutting it if it's so stupid, right? Just let me.
I did rebut it. You don't have a viable independent variable. It is a concept. There's your rebuttal. Stick it in your pipe and smoke it.
So you believe we live in a virtual reality?
Oh, is this a straw man by any chance?
Yeah.
Straw man. Excuse me. Do you understand what a straw man is? Because you've just presented one. Hello. Don't talk over me. Don't talk over me. Answer my question. Don't talk over me, Orthodox. Do you understand what a straw man is?
Yes.
Have you just presented one?
Hang on. Ask him for a definition.
We're trying to get to the bottom of you saying that distance is just a concept. That's what we're trying to get to the bottom.
Look up concept, bonehead. Go look up concept, bonehead.
What?
Go look up concept. Don't ask me to tell you what it is.
It's not an object. No. Okay, that's a non sequitur, Orthodox. That's a non sequitur because that's not what he's saying. That's not a logical conclusion to what Nathan is saying. Okay. When you listen, hold on. Listen, please. When you're looking at a tree, the tree is objective. It's there in front of you. When you talk about its height, that is a concept. It's an idea. Height isn't substantial. It's not an object. Distance is not an object.
On the planet. I mean, that's just absolutely absurd.
Concepts don't cause things. You unbelievable idiot. It's just a concept. How many times do we have to drill this into you?
Yeah, I don't get what the problem is.
That's because you're an idiot. Often, idiots don't understand their own idiocy, even when you lay it out to them.
Yeah, but you guys definitely need to take that off your checkbox in the morning because I've proven it on your show like twice.
You haven't, dude, at all.
Right, I'm sick of this troll. You're just a troll. This is what trolling is. Right, we've literally ripped his argument to shreds, pointed out its flaws, and at the end of that, rather than saying, yeah, I understand that it's complete idiocy that I'm spouting, he says, I've proven it twice on your show. This is just a troll. We're dealing with trolls.
Like I said, I could walk through it again and take about 60 seconds.
Please do not do that.
No, Nathan's right. If we do that,
you don't want me to do it, right?
Yeah,
we will be dumber.
You're right.
Nathan's right. If we allow you to go through it again in 60 seconds, we will be more dumb after you've done it than what you would be if you didn't.
Oh, that's funny because you don't remember it, so that's really good.
Height.
That's because it wasn't. I think we would have remembered if you proved gravity. I think
it wasn't memorable. Orthodox.
It was memorable.
You would have been the first one to prove it ever. So
I did exactly what Nathan wanted. I put it in the little box.
Yeah, but you did it wrong.
You did exactly what you guys wanted it. You're just moving the goalpost.
No, you don't understand an independent variable. You have to vary it, right?
Yeah, height.
Yeah, that's your cause then, height.
No, your distance away from an object is what humans call height.
Yeah, your independent variable is height. Therefore, your cause is height.
No, your cause is the relationship.
No, your cause is the independent variable. You don't know the scientific method.
No.
You don't have a valid hypothesis. You don't have a valid cause and effect relationship.
I did exactly what you guys wanted. I did
You don't
exactly
have a valid cause and effect relationship. What bit of that don't you understand?
You need to scrap your scientific method that you always talk
really?
about.
In favor of your new one that you're just trying to redesign for us? I don't think so.
No, I put it in that box. You guys said, can somebody put gravity in this little box for me called the scientific method? You outlined it perfectly. I came on, I put it in that box.
Let me ask you another question. Unorthodox.
No.
Let me ask you a question. What follows the hypothesis stage?
What follows the hypothesis? Well, I know. Let's see, what step is that, right? Make an observation, then ask a question, then you come up with your hypothesis, then you do your experiment, then you analyze the data.
So experiment.
And then you repeat.
Experiment.
Yes.
So, yeah, part of science... Sorry, my kid's tired. Part of science is systematic experimentation. Can you present your systematic experimentation that followed your hypothesis, please?
The experiment? I told you.
Yeah, the experiment. So don't tell me about it. Show me the systematic experimentation you have done.
All you're doing, Orthodox.
So you want me to do a video detailing this?
Right. Yeah, that's right.
Okay. So let me ask you, if I do a video detailing this and I do exactly what you guys are asking for, will I get a concession?
Please do what you're saying first, and then we'll address that. Okay.
Well, I mean, you can't tell me if I do everything perfectly by your standards.
You're not okay. You're not going to, so I'm not going to make a commitment that way.
I can't.
No, but you haven't.
Sorry, I just need to get clarity. Hold on a second, Unorthodox. Unorthodox, I need to ask a further question. Are you saying that you are presenting this as proof of gravity, but you have not actually performed systematic experimentation yet?
No, there's enough information in 2008.
Excuse me, it's a yes or no answer. Have you or have you not performed the systematic experimentation, the expression of your hypothesis? Have you done that?
Are you trying to tell me that air pressure doesn't change?
Excuse me, it's a yes or a no answer. Have you or have you not done the systematic experimentation required?
It's blatantly obvious, Nathan. You don't have to do it. It's so...
Oh! So the experiment stage isn't required. Proof, according to this absolute tard, is acquired by the hypothesis stage. No. No, you moron. It requires validation through experimentation. You unbelievable retard. So don't tell me you've got proof of gravity. You've got an idea. You've got a hypothesis. So what? Your hypothesis isn't even valid. You don't even have a scientific hypothesis and you're claiming it as proof. What an unbelievable idiot.
Hypothesis. I do. It's even got an equation, Nathan.
I don't care about the hypothesis. The systematic experimentation is the expression of the hypothesis. It is your hypothesis test. It's the thing that validates it, you complete idiot.
So what you're telling me is air pressure doesn't change.
I'm telling you that without an experiment, you don't have science. Without an experiment to validate or invalidate your hypothesis, you don't have dick. You certainly don't have proof of anything. But you don't understand that. You're too stupid to understand. That's why you're presenting a hypothesis in the assumption that you've got proof.
Okay, Nathan, that makes sense.
Yeah, okay, Nathan. I'm an idiot. That's what you should be saying, because you've presented a hypothesis, because you've formulated an invalid hypothesis. You think you've proved gravity. That's because you're a bloody bonehead.
No.
Yeah. If you had systematic experimentation to invalidate or validate the hypothesis, then you'd have scientific experimentation to back your hypothesis, because you'd expressed it with an experiment, with a hypothesis test, to validate or invalidate your non-scientific, non-science-based hypothesis, or to put it another way, your nonsense.
Orthodox. If you make an observation... No, he's not even there. He dropped or something. Okay.
Nathan, we do have a new one on the panel.
Hello.
Have you spotted who's joined?
Mike, good to have you.
Hi, guys. Are you there, Mike?
Yeah, I'm here.
Sorry, you had to put up with an unorthodox.
I just got to get this off my chest. He's just here to troll. Sorry, Anthony. I just want to get this off my chest.
A little bit retarded.
I just want to get this off my chest, Anthony. So, Orthodox is only here to troll. He has asserted that he has proved gravity with 2 scientific experiments, or 2 scientific proofs of gravity. When we rip apart the validity of his hypothesis, not his scientific experimentation, his hypothesis, and prove it's invalid, he reasserts that he's proven gravity twice. So then I ask him for his experimentation, the thing that actually validates the prediction you've made in your hypothesis, or invalidates it, and he hasn't done a damn thing. He's a moron.
I agree with that.
I'm turning into a cabbage.
Anyway, sorry, Mike. Didn't mean to hijack your entrance there.
No problem, no problem.
It just makes me wonder why they even bother turning up in the side chat and stuff, you know, because they get told something from a teacher at school, and the next thing, that's their belief for the rest of their life. And yet they can literally be looking at visual evidence of and somebody explaining what's happening in the evidence, and they'll deny it. They'll refuse to accept that this is what happens when they can see it with their own eyes.
Cognitive dissonance, man. It's a real thing.
Well, no, I think he's just a troll. So I was watching Steve HV this morning, and he was going through people, admittedly not on the show, but in the comment sections, that are just there to waste your energy. They're not there because they're interested in listening, and Unorthodox isn't interested in listening. When we explain how his hypothesis is invalid, he says, "Nah, I just think your explanation's rubbish. It's not that I don't understand what you mean by concept. It's just nonsense." And then he'll reassert at the end of that debate that he's proved it twice. So then you can move on to hypothesis-based experiment. Does he actually concede that he hasn't done a damn thing? In his mind, he thinks he's done science by writing down an invalid hypothesis? Of course not. He'll come back next week and say he's proven it twice. Because he's just a troll. He's here to waste our energy, waste our time, obfuscate the point. Just entertainment, that's all he's here for.
Yeah.
Where were we on housekeeping anyway?
We'd done it. We'd actually got to the end.
Did we? Right, okay.
We did. We got to pressurised... No, did we? I forget. No, I think we did get to the end, and Unorthodox piped up when it came to pressurised system next to a vacuum and said, well, we have a pressure gradient, therefore I've done science because I've managed to phrase pressure gradient into what I think is a scientific hypothesis. Just nonsense.
Gone quiet. Dead air.
It's because we're at the end of the hour mark. I'm happy to go for another 10 minutes, though. That's unless nobody talks, and then I'll round out immediately.
Sean subpoena?
No, not that we've heard of. He was due to instruct solicitors yesterday, so I'd have expected him to at least be gloating about the fact that he'd instructed them, but not a sausage, I'm afraid.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't think you'll never see that from him ever. He won't do it. I'll make that now. I'll make that claim now.
Let me just say something in official capacity, if I may.
Sure.
It has been brought to my attention that there's been a slanderous video out there about Vicor. Is that true?
I'm not sure.
Yes.
Yeah, I think
yeah,
he's
Sean Hufford himself has done
Sean Hufford or something.
Yeah, something
Okay.
about FE Core, I think it was called.
Yeah, I think he made a slanderous video about us.
That one, that's absolutely fine. As long as the other ones we can do.
I would agree.
Any base for any legal action?
Well, he's essentially slandering a business, so it could potentially harm the income of that business. I would say yes, that's actionable.
Fair enough. I'll keep that in mind. Okay, now I'm gonna take off my official mask and just laugh.
Yes, in an unofficial capacity. Good fun. Sean's very entertaining, if nothing else.
Sorry, have I missed something?
You missed all of it.
Oh,
you missed it.
Sorry, I just had to deal with something. What did I miss then?
And with that, I'm going to say a huge, massive, enormous thank you to all of the live audience. No, I'm only joking, Anthony. I was going to, just to be cruel, but no, I changed my mind halfway through.
Summons?
They have?
They've received the summons from Sean Hufford, yeah.
I don't believe that.
Filed
Let's
the
see the
papers.
paperwork. Who's received it? Effie?
Yep. Full summons.
Nope. Not believing that at all.
Court date and
Evidence is
everything.
required for assertions, otherwise, without evidence, they can be dismissed without evidence. So, is there any evidence for this assertion, Mr. Ranty?
None whatsoever.
Yeah, a trained style handset and a classic.
Listen, I don't even know.
It's strong belief, though.
I can't see a
strong
line
belief.
of action he can sue anybody with, so I'd be gobsmacked if he was able to sue anybody, let alone Effie Cole within 24 hours of him saying he's going to do something. What an utter moron. So, what we need to do then, before we round out this show, we need to remind everybody that anytime you see Sean Hufford live or you see him in chat, make sure you ask him, hey, have you got your solicitor sorted yet? Riley keeps asking. Let's get him put under some pressure.
Well, hopefully we'll be going live in the next couple of days, so I'll keep a watch out and poke him in the side chat.
Yeah, and I'll be sure to watch it like eventually when I get around to it.
Yeah, I'd love to see the pile of defamation and slander evidence pile up.
Yeah. Do you notice that when Sean gets to speak to certain people, he always seems to get the top cat. He always seems to get the man, not like some skivvy on the reception desk that is there deliberately to stop people like Sean getting to the top man. But he always seems to get the highest ever bloke. I call bullshit.
You know what those people are called?
Billy bullshitters?
No. The people that you said the person that's designed to stop you getting to the top man to waste his time for no money.
Yeah, the secretary at the reception.
No, there's a specific title it's
Gatekeeper.
It's a recruitment title. So we would call them the gatekeepers. So in terms of a skill, when I was recruiting for that exact role, you would ask the person, well, what gatekeeping skills do you have? And you'd drill them on how they knew how to obfuscate somebody who's like Sean, phoning up a reception desk. And I've employed receptionists for solicitors in the past, and literally that would be their main purpose, to figure out how much of a waste of time the person who's calling is.
Yeah, well, I don't think Sean can get through gatekeeping skills, because that's the whole point of them. I mean, it took me long. I had to chase the email that I sent to George's on George's claim because he never responded to it, and eventually he did respond. But I had to chase the question email because I just didn't get a response after what I consider to be a reasonable time limit, like a day. Didn't get one. So, but Sean seems to speak to the top dog, the PhD, who claims that he agrees with his methodology and his interpretations. And he also claims that he had an ex parte hearing with a judge outside of the courtroom in which the judge claimed to him that he wouldn't extradite me to the USA on an indictment charge of defamation of character on the basis of insanity because he didn't want to set a new precedent. And I'm thinking, you are literally like talking nonsense. You are talking about the definition or the what's the word? The defense of insanity, which is a criminal defense to a civil action of defamation, and there is no defense of insanity for defamation cases. On an extradition hearing, which you're not going to get extradition for being wrong on the internet from the USA, from England to the USA, but he's telling people that that's what's happened. I call bullshit. And he wouldn't give any proof for it because he claimed it would dox him. Really? How convenient.
I suppose it should be us asking Mike rather than the other way around. So have you received any documents from Sean Hufford, Mike?
No. No, I'm in my private capacity at the moment, so we would have to send it to the Netherlands. But our business address is in the United States, and the mailbox is open 24 hours, 7 days a week. So,
let me guess, it's empty from him.
Yeah, it's empty most of the time. We get a lot of threats from people saying that they will send us stuff, but mailbox is still empty.
It's interesting how much you can sound. I mean, I'll be honest, right? Bearing in mind that I'm the subject matter, I've said to Nathan that sometimes I'm even persuaded by how persuasive he is, because Sean's very good at sounding authoritative. But you have to remember the bigger picture, and that's the bit that people always forget. Sean's evidence is based on his interpretation of something that was wrong. It wasn't a spectrograph, or I think that was what it was called. It was the wave thing, and I don't even know what that's called. But he's interpreting based on something that's useless and doesn't accept the bit that is useful. by 2 or 3 different software packages by 2 different people that didn't previously know me. And I'm like, that's all right. I'm quite happy with that. Sean can go with his hunch. I'm happy with the independent and the what's the word? Not subject, the objective results. I don't need the subjective interpretations of Sean Hufford. I want to see the objective results that prove it without any consideration of interpretation by anybody.
Yeah, he might fool the typical subscriber base he has, especially with his legal actions, threats. But anybody that has ever gone through legal cases know that he's talking so much bullshit.
Yeah, he is.
There's no coherency in anything. There's no claim to be made.
That's why I keep poking him, because I know that he's A, incapable of doing anything because you need plenty of money, and B, if he gets the money from the ballers, please donate to Sean, because I want to see what Sean does actually do, because I'm calling nonsense.
To me, it just proves like how full of shit they are, because you claim you have this evidence, you claim you're audio guy and all that, but where's the evidence that Riley was lying? I don't understand. So now you're talking about now you want to complain about slander.
He says he's got an audio analysis from a PhD audio forensics guy.
Yeah. So where is it?
Exactly. Where is it? I want to see.
Where is it? Why hasn't it been presented long ago? How long have we been doing this now? Like 3 weeks or something like that?
A baller with evidence? Are you kidding me?
And now he's just crying about slander, and I mean, it's ridiculous, man.
Yeah, it's ridiculous because he doesn't understand the distinction of me saying stuff as Mike Cavanaugh and me acting as president and chairman of FE Core. And I rarely act as president and chairman of FE Core, only when I'm actually doing stuff for the board or for the organization itself. When I'm trolling Sean on YouTube with my private account, then of course I'm in my private capacity, and you can't sue a Dutch guy, you moron.
So funny when you put it like that, mate.
So, would you say you've got split personality then?
Yeah.
It is. It's split identity. You have 2 hats. It's the same in any business. If you're an incorporated company, which is what FE Core is, it's the same as being a registered company over here, a limited company. You wear 2 hats. One hat is you, the person. The other hat is you, the director. And there can be an overlap, but there isn't always an overlap, and there is a distinction between the two, and Sean doesn't get it. And I get it.
I can talk about FE Core as Mike Cavanaugh all I want, but that doesn't mean that I'm representing the organization while I'm doing that. I can say what my on the clock hours are, but that doesn't mean that while I'm saying that as president. No, of course not.
And what did you think when he said?
And I'm going to log to my FE Core account, and I'm going to state it officially and publicly. That's a public statement. And if Sean can find a public statement of defamation from FE Core, I'm willing to see it.
What did you think when he said, one of the funniest things he said was, Mike's made a massive mistake by giving Anthony FE Core status. He said, because that now means that FE Core are responsible for everything that comes out of his mouth. I'm like, what? Are you joking?
That's fucking hilarious. Sorry.
The guy's a moron. But everybody in his channel, on his channel, believes him.
So it just sounds like he's reaching. Just because he got caught in a lie.
He's trying to get under my skin or get under our skin and try
under my skin.
And I think him going after FE Core it's almost like saving face, try to make it look like
it's a dead end.
More of a problem than just going after you by yourself.
It's a dead end. There's nothing he can do against FE Core because there's not a public statement out there of Sean Hufford about him in person or about what he does or has done. Nothing. All the stuff that has been out there is from me, Mike Cavanaugh.
Or me.
Or
Ranty.
He's just doing it for the drama.
Is there anybody else that wants to jump on? Nathan's on the bandwagon too.
What now? I was telling the chat that they trust in R. Sorry, what was it?
No, it's all right. But
audio guy.
But I just love the fact that he honestly seems to believe this. But I can't tell if it's honesty or whether it's deliberate deception. But it's definitely one or the other. There's no middle ground here. You're either knowing exactly what you're doing.
When you know for 200% certainty that he's full of shit, that everything he says, you just know he's full of shit, and he's lying deliberately because anybody with 2 marbles up there, he doesn't even need audio analysis. He just need to listen to the audio clip itself and hear that it's a freaking conversation going on.
Exactly.
Yeah, where is it?
That's
Down
my
here,
point.
right?
Exactly
Yeah,
right. You don't need to analyze anything.
You could make a record out of that, couldn't you?
Well, I was thinking of adding that bit to the last part of the intro of Nathan's show. You know, just giving it an extra tweak on the sound itself, and just begin every debate show with that sound snippet.
That's why this is happening, Mike. That's why
for us, like a 10-second advert for the channel. See if he'll do it.
That's why this is happening. This is happening with FE Core because it's so glaring, because they've been caught so red-handed. It's not like it's us asserting that Geo is being fed by Soundly. Far from it. We've got a recording of Geo being coached by Soundly. That's the score here. That's why it's had to be taken to such extremes by a third party, i.e. Sean, to the ludicrous lengths he has, so that there's such a big distraction from the truth, which is that Geo is being coached by Soundly. We've got a recording of it. Don't need any analysis at all. Just listen to the recording of him talking to him.
Yeah, now, that's why we are really pushing it for him to get this into a court, because I want to see the face of the judge when he actually listened to the audio clip and then hears Sean's explanation. Man, he's going to get boot kicked out of the courtroom.
I would pay to hear that. Pay to hear his high-priced lawyer put it to the judge. Now, what you're actually hearing here is Anthony on a hangout that we don't have, being played into his microphone at a limited range. You're like, what? He's just going to be laughed out of court.
If you increase the volume by 60,000 times, and then you listen to the white noise in the background, you can clearly tell that it's coming from one of theirs. It's definitely one of theirs.
It's like it's not dealing with his audience anymore. It's like
white noise proved it.
Judges tend to be quite astute. You know what I mean?
And
They're
the
not
funny
like
thing
his
is,
audience.
the PhD audio forensic guy actually agreed with my analysis. Those were his words. I was like, okay, put your name to it. Sign off that paper. I want to see who signs off to that analysis.
That's the reason why we're poking him, because we want to see which moron's going to sign the paperwork that says that Sean's analysis was correct, because that's really what this is about. Yeah. We're attacking his credentials as an audio guy, and he wants to support them because saying that he was right. Well, let's see who signs it off. Come on, Sean, you've been called.
Fraudio guy.
Yeah, fraudio guy. I like that one.
Next time they say, where's the curvature? Say, well, it's in the white noise.
It's in the noise band.
And with that, I'm going to say, for first and foremost, huge, massive, enormous thank you to all of the debating panel for making this debate possible. And of course, a massive thank you to all of the live audience for tuning in and hopefully sharing this debate. If you hated the show because you believe Sean, be sure to hit that dislike button. But if you like the show, maybe consider sharing it with a friend or subscribing if you've not done so already. I've been Nathan Oakley, and I'll see you all in the next video.
Oh, what a lovely day!